Hello, hello, hello. I'm Sam Peterson. I'm an old gay trans man with bad teeth, and I love knives. I'm not here to rate them or tell you about the newest, the fastest, the bestest, the kapowest. I'm here to queerly share my queer love of knives with you. Like and subscribe. Well. It's been a weird week, not gonna lie. And I wasn't sure that I hadn't lost my job funding, but anyway, as it is, I'll have to go stealth, which brings me to my next knife, believe it or not. I have this rule, and the rule is I don't get to buy the same knives that I've already had. I have to buy something different. And now, this rule is not written in stone by any means, but it has kept me moving forward as I sell knives and I miss them and I'm longing for them. But it's kept me trying new blades when I thought all I wanted was the comfort of that ProTech Malibu that I just sold. Or whatever the case. Man, I miss that knife. So, this knife kind of straddles that line, pushes the boundaries a bit, quite a bit honestly. But I had to get it again. I really missed it. And that is, shockingly to me, the Cold Steel FM-1 Full Metal Atlas. In titanium and S35VN and BLACKWASH. Yes, ladles and germs. I have had this knife before, but let's talk about it. To keep to my rule, I chose this black one. And it is different. The BLACKWASH makes everything marginally bigger, even if it's just by microns. But I can feel the difference, which she definitely said. Look at this beautiful blade. It really is perfection. Its shape is so lovely. It got barely to slice, and it got this pokey pointy tip to poke and prod and spear things, and I think I might be a little in love with it. Do you remember hearing about those people who fall in love with inanimate objects? They fall in love with bridges and trumpets and stuff like that, and they have relationships with them. Look it up, it's a thing. There's this great documentary about a woman who fell in love with, I think it was like the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. I love that people find love, you know? And I mention this because I really feel a kinship with this knife. I am solidly a quarter, a fifth Scandinavian, Swedish, and this knife brings to me anyway, back to the time of Norse legends. I mentioned this before, but there's something very primitive about this knife, and I stand by it. Something very primitive, the way that it's just this sort of block with these almost crude etchings on it. I don't know. That's just where I go with it. It looks like it's 100 years old, and the crosshatch on the scales, they just look like something that you'd see on like a Viking ship. You know, on like the crosses, the Nordic crosses and ships. Everything about this knife disputes my usual tastes. It is a thinner knife. You can see that it's thin, by which I mean like the bug out, it's quite flat. Typically, I shun flat, thin-scaled blades, but this thing feels so good in my hand. It's cliche to say it, but it feels like it was meant for me. The only bummer is the lock, and I'm getting over it. It's just a tad, it's strong. The lock is strong, and you have to engage it by pulling down the button on the back and with the tip of your index finger, and it just got stuck. And it's hard, and it just sucks, which is also what she said. Somehow, though, this gives this knife its own unique personality. Maybe a bit of a curmudgeon, this knife. I don't mind. I like it. I like a quirky knife. I'm a short guy. I have large hands for a woman, but, you know, they are kind of small for a guy, and a lot of knives are just not built for my physiognomy. This one is. and it is substantial enough to be comfortable in a variety of shapes and sizes of paws, no matter what gender. And now that we only have 2 genders, it keeps it simple. In other knife news, I sent my Dromo off to the guys at Way of Knife to see if they could put her back together. Turns out a part is missing. I got this Dromos a couple years ago, and almost immediately the detent ball fell out of it. And I, of course, in my tremendous wisdom, being a new collector, decided to take it apart. Well, I couldn't put it back together, and it turns out a part is missing. So I just emailed Miguron. They've been responsive in the past, and I hope that they'll respond to me again, because it would really be nice to have that knife intact. It feels like it's a good knife. It's quite. It looks like it looks like it was well made. I bought it a couple years ago, so maybe I couldn't fit it together because it was missing a part. Anyway, I just want to give a shout out to Way of Knife. They did that amazing job on my Nazca. Is my Nazca around? On that beautiful Nazca, and they have a really good eye. Let me show you some of the work I've had them do. Some they did, and some that I had created that I'd asked them to do. They've done multiple knives for me, and let's take a look. They did my Giant Mouse Ace Biblio in titanium. They did that one. They kind of blacked it out and did a kind of a purple thing on it and beat up the blade. It looks really cool. They have a thing where you just pay $75 and you let them go ham on your knife. You don't get to advise them or tell them what to do. It's up to them. It's kind of a mystery thing. So that's what they did here. They also did this knife. So here is the Ace Biblio that they did in this sort of purple and gold wash that looks really cool. This is a great knife, by the way, the Ace Biblio XL, I think it is. This is a zero tolerance. They didn't do anything with the blade, but they did this beautiful William Morris pattern on it of thistles, which I really love. That was my idea. And my idea was also putting little rhinos on the QSP Rhino. Love this knife so much. Also a very strange knife. I had them put these little skull and crossbones on this Demko AD20.5. This I bought already made. It was like $200 on their site, and I fell in love with it. It's a ZT as well. I forget the number. They had done that, and this was another one I asked for. It's the Pengi, the QSP Penguin with a little serape, blue and pink serape pattern, and of course the Divo Pony Stout, which is really one of the highlights of my collection, I think. This was one of those where they just went ham on the knife, and this is what came back, and it really is a stunning example. It's really a very ordinary example of the stunning work that Way of Knife does. I'm never disappointed. I have a number of knives, as you can see from them, and I just think they're terrific. I think they're the bee's knees, and if you want a modification on your knife, if you're an artist like I am and you need to fiddle with everything, then they're a great place to go. I'm so tired, y'all. It's just really been a strange week, but you know I love you, and I think we can all kind of hold cyber hands together. Even my oversized women's undersized man's paw. We can hold each other's hands and bring each other through the dark, because there are going to be difficult times ahead. There already are. And oh God, this is being so dark. I love you. I'm a big homo. Just get over it. I love you. Bye. See you later.